The two worst teams in NA last year are back stronger than ever, with London sticking to a solid but questionable core, whereas Titans are rebuilding from the ground up. Hugh comes out on top. I'll be going over that today. Worth noting is that the Titans have stated they plan on picking up another main tank, but are waiting until they get their hands on Overwatch 2 to grab one. However, I feel that even with a new off tank, my answer doesn't change here. But let's get into it. We'll start with the DPS. Vancouver is fielding Hitscan Aspire from the Toronto Defiant, Hitscan Shockwave from the Philadelphia Fusion, and Flex DPS Seiko from Falcon Esports EU. London is fielding Sparker and Shax, continuing from last year, while picking up Backbone from Altoria. I'll be honest, I'm a big fan of their Titans DPS line. Aspire is insane. He has a great hits tracer and an amazing hit scan from contenders, and Shockwave is still able to flex onto the Echo and even the Sombra. So despite both of them being hit scans, they have a pretty wide range of possible comps to play. And while I think Seiko is a tad underwhelming for flex DPS, he's still better than Backbone due to his recent dominant contenders run. I don't think there's a player on London who can outperform their counterpart. Aspire Shockwave is much more flexible than Shaq Sparker as well as being better on the pure hit scan, I would say. I have to give this to the Titans. Next, the tanks. This is an interesting one, as London have made potentially the biggest mistake of the offseason by bringing back Hadi. But Pogo is a pretty big pickup in my opinion. Fault on the side of Vancouver is not a bad shout either. He was dominant in North American contenders with American Tornado, and was even very good on Uprising Academy before that. Also preferring False could very well rival Poco on the off-tanks, if not surpass him. I take Poco on the Diva, False on the Zarya, and I'd say it's a toss-up on Sigma. Poco hasn't really impressed me that much. Huddy does give London some flexibility, but I mean, it's Huddy. I would say he hits those on lands, but he is the king feeder himself. Him being there could be an improvement of the Titans' backline, but honestly, Huddy could be a detriment. Honestly, any main tank they sign, pretty much, as long as it's not some random unranked, would probably be better than Huddy at this point. I'm sorry. But next, I'll give it to London here, but I just can't imagine Vancouver goes into the next season with a weaker one. Next, the supports. I think Vancouver's support line is quite strong. Aztec was insane coming out of contenders, although he was benched by Lastro and never saw any playtime outside of a few maps on Zarya. I'm really glad he's getting another chance, and honestly, I think he's a lot more decorated than Provide, and he has the edge here. Meza is very insane though. He was a top 5 main support last year, and elevates his entire support line massively, despite Aztec and Skyripa being a little underwhelming. However, I have to take Mesa over Admiral, and Aztec over Provide, so I'll have to give this one to Vancouver. The coaching staffs are pretty interesting though. I think Christopher is actually a very good coach. He's been at the Fusion since Season 2, including the Fusion when their coaching staff was phenomenal, dealing with hero bans in the May meta brilliantly. And Spilo was a very underrated coach from last year, though he didn't bring many results. Meanwhile, as of now, the Titans have the exact same coaching staff as last year. I kinda have to give it to the Spitfire. The coaching got a big buff with Christopher, while Titans' coaching staff seems pretty mid, though they weren't really in a position to succeed last year either. Overall, I give it to the Titans easily. While London has the coaching to punch up considerably, their DPS and support lineups are significantly worse than the Titans, who secretly have very strong talent. Even the tanks are pretty close. London could make it competitive, but even with the coaching gap, I can't see them being able to stand up to the Titans. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload almost daily Overwatch League content, and I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.